Why is it that the best things in life are impossible to pronounce, like Challah? Elliott, I asked you what your Hebrew name was. What was it?
Baruch.
Again, nobody calls you Baruch because it's hard to say. Challah is fantastic. It is the Shabbat bread. People often know it as this pillowy, white, pure white, delicious challah with a bronzed cover to it, from the egg wash, and it is so rich and somewhat sweet. By the way, there's more than one kind of challah. There's also salt. There's salt challah, which is more of a yeasty challah and is not nearly as sweet or as soft, but it has its own charm. Challah really is not the bread. Challah is actually the act of separating some of the dough that you're making to give it away to charity. When you make a dough and you think about your good fortune, how you have food and you have sustenance, and you're creating something for your family or friends to share, or even for yourself, and you look around at your life and you say, I can always find a little bit to give away. That is the act of taking challah. The act of eating challah is designed to be some very special moment in which people gather around, think about the effort that went into the bread. The blessing we make is not thank God for bread. It's thank God who brings bread forth from the earth, which always says to me, who worked so hard to put this on our table? A lot of people. Well, that's what Shabbat is about. It's about declaring ourselves to be an appreciation of the labor that makes Shabbat possible. At the same time, we don't labor on Shabbat. We don't do the work. We appreciate the work. Then, of course, we enjoy the challah. We eat it. We have blessings for it. But the key thing is, it should be a special thing. Very few people will tell you that they have challah for dinner on Thursday. But having challah on Shabbat really is what sets the differentiation between a regular meal or a Shabbat meal. I don't know of anybody that ever had sliced white bread on Friday night. Do you know anyone like that?
I don't.
If you are that person, I want you to tell us about it in the comments.
I'm not a big white bread person.
No, but I just want to know, does challah work best dipped in grape juice, with horseradish, mayonnaise, in soup? How do you really like your challah?
Certainly not that way.
We used to love it with grape juice. We love it with horseradish and mayonnaise. We would love it with chopped liver and mustard. Challah is one of the most versatile things. It will get all of you fat all at once. Remember that pillowy thing I was talking about?
Yeah.
It's pillowy.
I think you're talking about challah as a gratitude moment.
Yeah.
As the moment where you realize that you're not self-created.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really hard for Western people. We've got this myth going on in the culture that we're all kind of self-created. We all made ourselves. We don't come from anywhere. And part of that is because Western society has become unrooted in the last century or two. We don't feel we have roots in any kind of tradition. And partly it's because of a massive drive for success. So everybody kind of feels like, I did it. This is kind of like self-made machismo. When you get to the challah moment on Friday night, there's a kind of recognition, and I like what you said about the blessing. Like somebody drew this out of the earth, I didn't drive the tractor and plow the field and sow it and reap it. So there's a moment where you realize, like, I'm not self-made. I'm not even close to self-made. So there's a tie-in between the blessings you give people and the challah that you're eating. Because in both of those, there's an expression of gratitude. I'm so glad that there are other people in my life, in this case, people who've provided this food on the table. So, I think that's a no-brainer.
It's interesting also that you're supposed to have two challahs, and everyone sort of knows that you have two on at least Friday night. You have two, and the idea, there's a symbolism there of there was a time when they had a double portion during the manna, during the desert, and so on. But ultimately, two means it's more than just one. One for me, one for you, but it's the idea of largesse and gratitude, and really there's something symmetrical about two as opposed to just one. And on Shabbat, you become more than just the sum total of yourself, and you often, I always think of the two challahs on Shabbat as thanking your good fortune for having parents who brought you into this world. Something really special. The knife part is a little weird, but it works.
Well, one is individualism. Two is like, I live in the world. I live with people. Two is about, that's the power of the symbolism of breaking bread. I take something that's whole, that it's just one. It's just one thing. and I break it to share it with you. I now create community.
There's a prophetic text that says, "Chut hamashulash lo b'mehira," you take a 3-stranded rope, cannot easily be frayed. And that's why we braid our challah, because when we sit around that table, we are braiding the cords of our life. Having the relationships that happen around a Shabbat table last for a lifetime. They're memories that last for a lifetime. They involve guests that pass through our lives. They involve special people. It has to be a special thing, and that will not quickly be frayed if you braid it properly. And that's really what the symbolism of challah is.
Yeah, it's those bonds.
Now, the whole thing about raisins or streusel, and it's all personal taste.
Sorry, what's streusel?
Streusel is a mix of sugar and basically margarine or butter to create a topping for challah.
More health food, you mean?
More pillow.